The Seacoast has a problem, and it has to do with men. Let me explain. A few months ago, I scrolled social media and stumbled upon a post from my friend Sheila, who was announcing the first events for her new group, the She Flows Collective. In the carousel, she promised a yoga class by the water, La Melita coffee, juice samples, Reiki, and community. Right up my alley, right? I mean, I love all of those things. But then I read the caption, where I realized that I wasn't invited because the event was only for women. I'm not criticizing She Flows. In fact, I want every woman listening here to go to their events. Sheila is a good friend of mine, and I'm so proud of the work she's doing. But I say this rather to underscore the point that this isn't the first time I felt excluded from doing things that would light me up inside. Women have so many outlets here on the Seacoast. A lot of my dear friends run them. There's She Flows with Sheila, Lex Morton's Wild Ivory, formerly Well-Lived Women, Women's Business League, the Her Conference, Business and Friendship with my friend Allison, Gabby Kelly runs a monthly breakfast for moms who own businesses, Jen Wilder leads Women's Health Talks at Laney and Lou, Alyssa Pine is hosting Live Freely Fest with 75 plus women-owned businesses in 2 weeks. This is incredible, and I understand why women need these spaces to gather, to connect, to find community, and to feel safe with each other. Trust me, I get it. But where are the Seacoast men? Why don't we gather? Where's our community? We need it too. And why are so many of the groups, conferences, and get-togethers led by women here? Why do so many Seacoast women put themselves out on social media and so few Seacoast men? This trend of women outperforming men is not confined to the Seacoast. If you're a human being on the internet these days, chances are you've come across influencers and podcasters discussing things like toxic masculinity or why men are struggling so much in the modern world. One of the leading voices in this field is an NYU professor named Scott Galloway. And on Scott's appearances on big podcasts like The Diary of a CEO or On Purpose with Jay Shetty, he talks about how men are lagging behind women, why they're graduating college at lower rates than women, why men are making less money than they ever have, why more men are single, why they're losing their virginity later than women are, why women are dating older men now, and why men are lonelier and far more suicidal than women are. We'll reference Scott a few times in this episode, an episode that was suggested to me by a female listener of the show a couple months back. I mulled the idea over for a while and eventually decided that, yes, we should talk about this. Men's voices matter too, especially here on the Seacoast. So welcome to Seacoast Stories, a podcast about the people, businesses, and newsmakers that make the Seacoast an American hidden gem. I'm Trey Farkas, and on today's episode, a roundtable discussion about masculinity, what it used to be, what it is now, and what it may look like in the future. I'm joined by three friends of the show. First is Seth Pearson of Love Amped. Seth is a newbie to the Seacoast, recently moving here from Colorado. He's the boyfriend of past podcast guest Alex Bynum, and he too is a spiritual healer trained in the ancient lineage of King Solomon, whatever that means. He's also in a men's group called The Mankind Project, which we will reference later in this episode. Next up is Ryan Lambert of the River app and my partner in Seacoast Stories Dinner Club. And today he makes his record-breaking third appearance on the show. And the first voice you'll hear is perhaps one that you're familiar with. It's the voice of Andy DeMeo, the host of the Granite Goodness podcast, and a fascinating person who certainly has a lot to say on this subject. To break down the fourth wall, as we say in the business, we spoke for over 2 hours when we recorded this conversation. I've trimmed it down because we often veered way too far off topic, because oftentimes men get carried away when we're together. But I will say it was deeply cathartic to surround myself with other men, which I don't often do. And I left thinking that, man, I've got to do this more often. So on this episode, Seth, Andy, Ryan, and I discuss how we have felt insecure in our own masculinity in our lives, and how men have lost their way. We'll talk a lot about sex. We'll get into what women really want in a man, and they'll even give me some bachelor advice. This is a conversation that got me wildly out of my comfort zone, but I think it's a necessary one. I hope you enjoy it. Here's Andy answering my first question in his typical Andy way. What do you think the proper masculine energy is?
Oh, God. Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's it.
I don't know what that means. I don't watch movies.
You haven't seen any Arnold Schwarzenegger movies?
I haven't seen a movie in like a decade.
Okay. To put it succinctly, I think Arnold Schwarzenegger is a wonderful example of masculinity because he embodies, like, he is someone who, in archetypally, right, is the embodiment of success. He is someone who, in an extraordinary way and in multiple domains, has like exerted his will and agency onto the world and just has achieved all these incredible things. He moved to a new country when he was young. He didn't speak the language. He achieved, success in this, highly unusual form of athleticism and self-development, bodybuilding. And then he became an actor and everyone laughed at him and said, "You'll never become an actor. You don't speak English. You'll never figure this out." And then he became the most successful actor. And then he went and did politics, and he would have kept going if we didn't have a constitutional amendment prohibiting immigrants from running for president. No, seriously.
Yeah.
And so like he is a really successful kind of like type A guy. And, he also embodies some of the more problematic aspects of masculinity, right? Like he is also known for having a secret love child, right? Like he had this affair in the 90s and he hid it to protect his political career. It was this big scandal that like was, kind of, most people look at that and say that was very much the wrong thing to do. And they're both true, right? And so like he is both a great achiever, he's a great provider, but also from the peak of his athletic career and when he got involved in politics, like he's been a profound champion of disabled people. He's all about the Special Olympics. And in terms of like body image, he's the last person who you would expect to want to talk openly about emotion and your image of yourself. But he really is quite open about that. And he's open about the mistakes that he's made. And he'll very candidly be like, "Hey, I was once the most muscular man in the world, the most type A masculine guy in the whole world. And I felt like shit when I would look at myself in the mirror. And I feel like shit when I look at myself now. And, all these people out there who are so hard on themselves for not going to the gym and not looking like a bodybuilder." He's like, it's okay. Like you really should actually be quite gentle. So he embodies all these different features, but in a way that is larger than life. And I think well known to a lot of Americans. And he embodies some of the best virtues of Americanism, of masculinity, but also can show some of their flaws and egotism as well.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
That last part is something that really strikes a chord with me about the body image, right? In traditional masculinity, men are big and strong so that they can protect and rush in to save the day and fight off the criminals whenever there's danger. Me personally, I have always been a little bit insecure in my masculinity because I am not that. I am very strong, but in a different kind of way. Like I can't lift 200 pounds, but I can like do 30 pull-ups. I can do yoga.
You've got endurance.
I've got endurance, but it doesn't come off as that like traditional masculine energy. So I don't take my shirt off at the beach very often here on the Seacoast because, oh God, I'm too skinny. I don't feel like a man right now.
Oh, Troy, I've got a plan for you.
And
I was going to say.
And Seth, I wonder, you're also a very thin man. You're thinner than me. Are you insecure in your masculinity at all because of your frame?
I would say no. I don't. I was putting myself in that example
You
just
have a
now.
beautiful body, Seth.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
Wow. All right.
Thank you.
I open up and then you compliment his body. Not
this
mine.
is
Okay,
great.
go on.
Troy, you're all covered up. I can't. You got
Good.
nothing.
I like it that way.
You got to unbutton a little more if we're going to talk about that.
I'm a
blushing
professional,
right
damn
now.
it. Okay.
This is great. I'm not afraid to take my shirt off in a beach. I think there were moments and times in my life that maybe there was some things around, I would say around even sex. And like, I would always kind of think that a woman wants like someone maybe with a larger frame or like a wider frame or something like that. So I would think about stuff like that.
You seem very grounded to me.
How did you get over that though? That insecurity of being skinny and trying to be an attractive partner?
I would say there's too many times where there was a lot of satisfaction on the other end from sexual experiences.
All right.
What? I would say
I understand it.
What do you mean by that?
I would say
Spell it out.
Because before, especially around the idea this in my head that I used to have around, it's like, oh, women want men with a larger frame because they're just more like animalistic in bed.
Right.
But then I think once I like started having sex, then that just went away. 'Cause
Really?
I'm like, oh, okay. They're having fun. So
well, you
it's all
find out
good.
what women actually want, what
Yeah.
sexual partners actually want. And it's very different from like the stereotype and what porn or whatever, right? Like all these different signals.
What do you think they want?
Well, I mean, he's a good example. All I'm trying to put, like, what you just said is a very good example of like, we have all these signals, right, for what we think a man should be, how men should act. And they're often not aligned with like what really is in our best interest or reflect people's desires, right? Male to female, which I don't know who talks like that. It's weird when people call a woman female. Like, can we just agree that's like cringy as fuck? Like people, that's just like you don't have to refer to them as females. It's very weird. But you know, like, oh, okay, if you want to have a good sexual connection with somebody, like, how about this? Get to know them in real life, and you know, explore each other. Ryan, I can feel you have a lot of thoughts about this.
Ryan here has been married for 17 years, so he is.
Congratulations,
and Andy, you've been married a couple years. Seth, you're in a happy relationship. I'm the token single man of the bunch, so we all have different perspectives to bring here.
We're here to give you bachelor advice, but only if you want it.
No, I don't
You're
need that.
so eligible, by the way.
So eligible.
I can't
It's
really.
true, Troy.
I can't. I think I have difficulty speaking to. Well, I will say this though: you can like break necks if you just get your fucking haircut on a regular cadence.
Oh yeah, yes.
I just thought that was so funny.
The bar is low.
What I mean by break necks, like people turn their heads, and what's funny is I'm happily married, but I noticed it 5 years ago. I started. Sorry, Rach, took me so long to figure out how to get my haircut regularly, but I just like put it in my calendar. I got a haircut every 4 weeks and the shave, and I went to a Hispanic barbershop actually, and they started doing shit with my, you know, like putting the lines in on
there you
this,
go.
and like actually like
Revolutionary.
like
Wish I could
wanting
touch
to thinking like, oh, he must want to portray himself in a positive light. Yep. Most barbershops I went to, like, okay, cut your hair, give me the money, okay, get out. I was like, great, it was cheap, awesome. But these guys were like, you know, do you want to put some cologne on? I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I don't really know where I'm going with this.
So
but
that's
it's
fine.
interesting.
So I polled 7 Seacoast women across 20s, 30s, 40s, across single, married, in long-term relationships.
That's
And
a
I asked
strong
them,
sample.
what do you, big sample size, what do you want in a man? I'd love to see you read you some of the things that were said. Something to what you were just saying, Ryan, is along the lines of takes care of himself. This was a common theme. So that is in how you smell. Are you clean? Things of that nature. My one friend put this beautifully, quote, works through his own wounding. In other words, works on himself, cares about their own self-development. That was also a very common answer. I received this from a few as well. Not afraid of strong women and celebrates and supports their independence. Because as we talk about men falling behind in society, we're also talking about the rapid growth and success that women are experiencing professionally, financially. That is very evident here on the Seacoast, and this is amazing, and this deserves celebration, but men are just having a harder time right now. So that is also part of the impetus of the conversation. And so women want men who are not insecure about the woman possibly outperforming the man in terms of the traditional metrics of success, but rather supports and like, we are in this together kind of vibe. The number one thing that came up the most, though, was emotional intelligence. Every single woman that I polled said this. Notice how none of the things that we have said are, oh, he has to be 6 feet tall. He has to be super duper strong and fit. These are the things that men think women want. But what they're telling me and what I've understood from the data is like this emotionally intelligent thing, as we are now in this era of mental health and self-awareness and personal development and all like these TikToks and self-help books and podcasts and such. That is such an it topic right now. Seth, you know this more than anyone in this group. Women want a man who is very in touch with their feelings and in their own self-development, wants to grow alongside the woman, and who can openly and honestly communicate their emotions and feelings. So you're very in touch with your feelings. How do you communicate those to your partner?
By doing it as swiftly and tactfully as possible, I would say. For me, because I came from more of being more in touch with the feminine energy within myself before Mankind Project, Lineage of King Solomon, studying through that, these different avenues. I also studied nonviolent communication, had great communication teachers. And one of the things that I tell people to do is to just communicate as quickly as possible, because getting that piece, whatever is causing that disharmony potentially in the relationship to happen, the sooner that it gets resolved, the less time that there is for some negativity to anchor and start to spread and get distorted in different ways, create the stories. When you're talking about, well, what's a feeling and what's just some story that starts, some thoughts that start to have chain reactions that lead to negativity. So I do it as quickly as possible.
You said something that caught my attention. So it was only really until you found this ancient lineage that you study that you started feeling more secure in your masculinity. But before then, you leaned way more into the feminine side.
Yeah, before basically doing any work on myself, I was totally just swimming in more of like a feminine realm, because I kind of had the distorted versions of feminine and masculine energies within myself. But because I had, I would say, more feminine energy present within myself, I did kind of gain some amount of intelligence around my feelings and the emotions and the kind of why behind certain things. And so, like, you know, within my recommendation for other people into getting in touch with their feelings is to recognize the needs under them, what is not being met, of course, within the self first, but then also in relationships.
Mm. Did that bother you all those years that you weren't really showing up as men typically do?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Especially once I graduated college when I was 22, got a job, and I started working. And of course, the weekends started to open up and started going out more with friends and kind of being on more dating apps. And I felt so lost in that experience, because I'll never forget this quote that, you know, just this thing that I said to some friends after a night of going out on the town is, I used to say, like, yeah, I think I want to date a girl because women terrify me. And like, you know, like a it's a cute girl,
Yeah.
you know, like, you know, and it's same age, right? Like, I'm not saying like a young girl, like I'm saying like someone in her 20s. I was in my 20s that kind of had more of like, oh, she's more like a girl, but like a real woman was scary.
Why?
But because for me, I was like, oh, then I have to show up and actually be a good man.
Yeah.
Like, and not in the sense of that I wasn't good before, like that I didn't have a good heart, didn't have good intentions. It's just like, I didn't know how to have the divine masculine strong attributes. I was lost.
Wow. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I have to keep digging. How did you find it?
I would say that first step was to admit to myself that I was lost. The next step was starting to study more about the masculine and feminine qualities. Also led me to the Mankind Project, doing stuff there. But then what was truly the cream of the crop was in the Modern Mystery School, the Lineage of King Solomon. There are Hermetic classes specifically on the masculine and feminine energies. And there is so much clarity that I got through those classes. And as I made those refinements, those big changes, then I saw some really good fruits in my life.
Okay.
And obviously my relationship with Alex is one of those fruits.
Oh, we love Alex. So in what ways do you embody masculinity now that you weren't before?
Ooh, a really good one is when to say no to the feminine.
Explain.
Isn't that a good one? Do you feel that?
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah,
by
keep
that.
going.
Isn't that really good?
It is.
What is that? So, because we have
stewing in it.
I might
these
need an
masculine
example.
and feminine energies within ourselves.
We all have this, right?
Yeah. We first need to know how to say, especially as men, flowing more of the masculine energy, when to say no to the feminine aspects of the self. And so for me, I used to swim more in like the emotional realm, especially when I was in my early 20s. And that was a problem. Just being in my emotions all the time was actually not a good thing for me to do. Now, like I said, there was aspects of me to have better understanding of like, oh, okay, I'm having this emotion. I'm having this emotion. It's good to know how to identify the different pieces, but to just be in it all the time was not healthy for me. So once I started saying, no, what if I would just went through the world, and it's not that I'm ignoring my feelings and emotions. I'm just more like, no, I'm just in more of a doing mode. I need to do things. And the more that I said no to the feminine energy being swimming in emotions all the time, then I was able to do that in the real world. The feminine energy, this is another piece. The feminine energy is going to test the masculine in these different ways. That there's this kind of general known thing that people notice, like women test men. And it's not that it's like they're doing that negatively. Potentially there can be shadowy aspects to it, but they're seeing that the man can say no, or what can create the boundary in the relationship.
Andy.
Yeah.
You are someone who I would describe you as flamboyant. Would you think that's an accurate adjective to describe you?
I would not dispute that characterization.
Okay, yes.
No.
You are a flamboyant man, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you are bisexual.
I believe you have to check.
Okay.
We can double check that later. Ryan and I.
Okay, fantastic. Have you ever felt insecure in your masculinity?
Oh, very much. Yeah. I'm fascinated by everything you just said, by the way. And I want to like, it's hard not to like, I have my own podcaster brain, like the questions, but
I didn't want to interrupt, but I kind of wanted to interrupt.
Yeah, right. Are you attracted to older women now? Like, did that get fixed?
Oh, older women.
I don't think just women. Do you still want girls or what's Alex? Is she a girl or is she a woman?
That's
awesome. What I've been wondering the whole time.
I've comically been into older women for most of my life.
How old are you actually?
33.
Okay.
Wait, but you say girl, like what? I'm confused.
So before when I was trying to clarify that, I wasn't super clear.
Yeah.
Is when I meant girl, is that how they acted.
Oh, like maturity.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And that, same as myself, still had good intentions,
Yeah.
still was a good person, had a good heart.
Yeah.
But like maybe they were a little immature and didn't really know themselves either.
Right.
They were not like in their like divine feminine womanhood where they just stand there and it's like, boom, goddess right there.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't be the god. I couldn't be the divine masculine and be like, boom, I'm here too.
Yeah. Man,
Sick.
that happens to me like 4 times a week. You just like, boom, goddess, you're right there. I completely understand. Wow.
I love this so much.
Yeah.
Mostly because I don't understand it as much as you guys.
Well, it's interesting.
Yeah, they don't talk about the divine feminine in Silicon Valley.
No,
Ryan.
It's
Andy,
true.
Yes.
have you ever felt insecure in your own masculinity?
Yeah. I mean, totally. Yeah. To actually answer your question. When I was younger, and we could talk about flamboyance, I'm putting it on the record. You can edit this out if you don't like it, but we're going to get you on the beach. We're going to get you have all this branded stuff. A Seacoast Stories Speedo, SPEEDO.
Absolutely not.
Yes, please.
Never.
Yes, please. Yes, please. I think it would sell like hotcakes. I would buy 10 of them in all different colors and I would wear them to all your life.
Why do you think we have sorry, don't let me interrupt.
No, I want to know.
Why do men not want to wear a Speedo? I don't want to wear a Speedo either. Why don't I want to wear one?
American men don't.
Well, some of us do.
Yeah.
I don't like swim trunks. They're floppy. They are not fluid dynamic.
Oh, God.
They're a complete waste of time. I don't know what is about it. So I have a
Give me all the clothes. Like, give me all the layers.
Oh,
I have a rule. I will not wear shorts until it's over like 87 degrees.
Wow.
Yeah. I love layers.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a very stylish person. Like, this is the beauty. There's no wrong way. Like, this is what I think is wonderful about being a man today. Is like, we can pick and choose. We kind of get to choose what it means. And maybe some of us are lost because of that. To answer your question, yes, when I first started to understand that I was also attracted to men, I didn't give it.
When did you understand that?
Oh, God. I mean, where do you want to begin? There's a movie called The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. So all these kind of like mythical superhero people from, the Victorian era of, literature and fantasy are all cobbled together. And one of them in the movie version is Dorian Gray, who is a character from Oscar Wilde's only novel. Oscar Wilde is an Irish playwright and poet. He's kind of this Christ-like figure for the queer liberation movement, the gay rights movement. He was a gay man. I'm obsessed with Oscar Wilde. I've been in love with him since I was like 14. And anyway, this character in this movie was just, I don't know. He's fucking hot in the movie. That's the point. That's all I'm trying to say. He wears a gray suit.
And how old were you when you first?
14. I was on the bus on a band trip and I saw this movie and just this really sexy guy who nothing fazed him. And he was just like, he was always fighting, but he was always like, you know, flirting at the same time. And I had never seen anybody like that. And that turned me on to this whole world of like, oh, you can be strong, but sensual and flamboyant and flirtatious and ambitious and adventurous and have agency. And like, that is what masculinity and in some ways queerness and bisexuality mean to me.
Okay. And so when you came upon this realization and realized that you had these other parts of you, did that make you feel like less of a man?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm lucky to have been, I grew up in a very tolerant household, right? In a time in American society where, you know, this was the latest frontier of civil rights, you know, for like liberal families. Like the first time I had a sexual experience with a man, I was like, oh, I'm not gay. You know, like literally, yeah. I did that. It's actually another man. And I was like, no, I'm completely straight, even though I wasn't. So I, in my own weird way, had like baggage with like some of the cultural stuff, but my family has always been wonderful and tolerant and supportive. It's a non-issue. It's more than you ever wanted to know, but you asked.
Thank you. Ryan, have you ever felt insecure about your own masculinity?
Yeah, actually, I'd say maybe this is, I think being unemployed definitely felt like, kind of like, wow, what am I doing? I'm not really like being very useful.
Right.
I didn't really.
When you were married?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been married since I was 23. So I've basically been married half my life.
That's when I got married.
So, I mean, this is another big thing, right? Like men have always been the financially responsible ones, the ones that are the breadwinners and the supporters. And so a huge point of insecurity can be, oh, wow, like I am not doing well financially. I can't provide. Scott Galloway, who we've referenced a few times, says that is like still like by far and away, like you want to be a man, like get in good shape and make money. That's how you be a man. That's how you get confident. And that's how like everything like trickles out from there. So I totally get your point.
Yeah, I think at the time I didn't really think about like literally masculinity or being like manly wasn't in my mind. I think actually realizing that as a man, I need that actually would have helped me. If somebody said, if I was having this conversation, it was like, hey, you're really sad and you feel like borderline, like your life is not worth it right now because you just need to go do shit.
Yeah.
Like that's why you're sad. And, you know, I wish I had kind of realized that then. I would have just like anything at all, like go push grocery carts or something.
Yeah.
Like literally anything at all probably would have been happier.
A common thing that happened in my polling and just in other research, women want men, they find it very attractive, a man who has purpose, who has his own shit going on, has something that like he can get up for every day that really drives him. And then to your point about financially, Ryan, I was not a confident person. I did not have strong male role models in my life. I have always been kind of like you, Seth, like it took a long time for me to grow into masculinity. I was surrounded by women my whole life. My best role models were women. And so it took a very long time for me to really like lean into being a man. I had this kind of whole identity crisis around it, but it wasn't until I started making money where I like really developed confidence and like, I am someone that women should want to go on dates with, sleep with, etc.
Damn.
Yeah. I had a similar experience. Not so much money, but I don't really feel like my adult identity started to crystallize until I, won this thing in college. There was this entrepreneurship competition that, I just kind of entered last minute and worked really hard. And, my girlfriend at the time was now my wife. Like we came up with the idea together and then like I won first place. I beat all these other people in a way like I won, you lose. And, I don't ever really think in those terms. Like I'm like obsessed with positive sum thinking, but like I had never, ever done anything like that. And it just like, it helped me like once I achieved something that I really did on my own terms, it was like a switch flipped. That was like, oh, okay, the world actually likes it when you're different and you find what your strengths are and you are vocal and enterprising about them. Like you don't have to be afraid of that. And ever since then, it's just been, my life has been so much more interesting and fun. So this is like the achievement made a difference.
And you probably gained a lot of confidence from that.
Yeah.
Seth, I'm curious about you. You do some like you have a weird life. Like you do some weird shit. Like I'll say.
He's wearing a pentagram around his neck, which I'm obsessed with.
Exactly. But it takes a very certain kind of person to be able to proudly be the kind of person you are. You have a lot of confidence. You are a confident man to me. How did you get that confidence?
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Really nice body.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I would say when I really made the choice to pursue how to have the best relationship with myself and to love myself, then the confidence kind of spigot started to open up a lot more. Of course, when I was younger, I did have a little bit more of a carefree nature to myself, or to be silly, to be okay with myself on making mistakes. But then I really had to decide to go, no, I love myself and I'm going to stay committed to helping myself have the best life possible. And I want to give a little shout out to the beauty of studying improv as well. I feel like that helped me work with my fear response a lot.
Yeah.
To just be like, oh, okay, that's a fear response and I can ignore that.
Yeah.
And of course, it's wild even to me still every single day that I don't experience too much fear. It's like before I had to fight it and be like, no, I'm still going to do the thing. I'm going to make it. But now it's like, oh, I don't even have
I mean, you're doing one of the scariest things, putting yourself in one of the scariest, most uncomfortable situations that you could possibly do. You're getting up in front of a room of people without a plan and are just performing on the spot, all the while trying not to completely embarrass yourself and make a fool of yourself. And this is something that really gets at why a lot of young men are struggling today, because we have parents, society has kind of removed all possible routes to failure and to rejection. I heard a stat earlier today that men under 24 or boys under 24, only 50% have, or maybe somewhere between 30 and 50% have asked a woman out on a date face to face.
Oh, yikes.
Because there's such a fear of rejection and it's so easy and convenient to do it online that you don't have to feel what it's like. We've all been there. We've all been rejected. I get rejected every other day. But I've been rejected so many times now that it just rolls off my back because it's a skill that you have to learn, just like performing on stage, doing podcasts, building businesses. Like we've all done things that have failed. The failures suck in the moment, but you learn so much from the rejection, from no one buying your product, no one listening to your podcast, or no one signing up to be a client, that you get this resilience and this resolve that so many men are not getting, because when you eventually overcome those hurdles and that rejection, like that's where the growth happens and that's where the confidence comes from. But we're having so many problems today with men specifically because we're removing all the roadblocks. We're making life too easy for them, and then life isn't easy.
Right.
I mean, this concept of anti-fragility, right? You know, things that get stronger when they experience struggle, like a bicep, right? And I feel failure is the only time you actually learn something, right? I completely agree. You were going to say something, Ryan.
No, I mean, I was just thinking about, so whenever I hear somebody talk about like learning how to like experience rejection from like asking a girl out, I remember in high school, one of my friends, his dad actually like literally just taught him how to do this. He's like, he drove him to like some place. He's like, okay, did you find one? And he's like, one what? He's like, a girl to go ask out for coffee. And then he like sat in the car. He's like, okay, you ready to go out and ask her? And he's like, okay. And then he went and asked her out to coffee. He's like, okay, we're booked for next Sunday at whatever time. And then he'd come back. He like literally just trained, like walked his son through it, stepped him through it. I thought that was really sweet.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
You know what I think is kind of at the core, like, because I do want to talk about porn, right? And not
We have all the cameras.
Not just because this is we're going to get it on, but we're still going. We don't know. But no, I mean, like my personal view is that at the core of like why a lot of young guys struggle with this is because there's so much programming for them to view women in a very limited way. It's like, oh, if they are not a sexual or a romantic prospect for me, they're not worth my. They might not use those words, but the idea that and women talk about this. They'll be like, well, they feel invisible as they get older and as they're kind of out of like their prime mating years, which is a phrase that Scott Galloway would use that I think is weird, but he's, but he's completely right. Like we treat people differently based off their looks. It's not fair, but it's the way it is, and we should try to make things fair and all that. But like it's such a limiting way to look at relationship. Like it gets at the core of this question, right? People always say, well, can men and women really just be friends? Fuck, of course they can.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Of course they can, right? And to imply that they can't is like to act as though men are just these like sex hogs who can't think straight. I think that's so sad and myopic.
Yeah, I've gotten that criticism a lot. Of my friends, it's like 80% women, 20% men. And this is why I've always a little bit insecure in my masculinity because I spend so much time with women. But the men in my life who observe these dynamics, they're like, well, you're just friends with them because you couldn't have sex with them. And I'm like, it's actually not that at all. It actually never even crossed my mind.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's like, it's strange actually that you think that way, that like you only
like
think
you should spend more time with women. They're actually amazing and are way smarter than us.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And you don't have to be afraid of it. Like they're people too, like they're not so different. I mean, they are, but you know what I mean? Like, this emotional intelligence, right? Like this is the thing that, a lot of women say they're not getting.
Hey everyone, I hope you're enjoying this conversation. If you are, we'd really appreciate it if you left a review of Seacoast Stories on Apple Podcasts. Just open the purple podcast app on your phone, search Seacoast Stories, scroll to the bottom of the page, and hit the write a review button. It will only take a minute. If you're not enjoying this episode, if you think we're way off base, then please DM us at Seacoast Stories on Instagram and let us know what you think. And also if you'd like more episodes like these, where we get into more of the issues on the Seacoast and beyond. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you being here. Now back to today's episode. And now you're speaking to something that, that women say they want in a man, or just as we paint the picture of the ideal modern man, that is a man who is in touch with his feelings, who is willing to do the work, who is willing to, because what have men long been criticized for? Like the traditional masculine man. Oh, like he pushes the feelings down. He projects an image of strength and bravery and unflappability when really like there's stuff going on beneath the surface. But God forbid you show any sign of, quote, weakness or that you're struggling. Whereas weakness is a strength in today's society, perhaps in the redefinition of masculinity.
Or empathy is, right?
Yeah.
Like I bet Julius Caesar would have been a better leader if he had a little more empathy. I don't know. Maybe not. It was a very different world. Like it's impossible to play these things with history, but like I try to think of, when we criticize these kind of traditional characteristics of masculinity, I think of them more as some of them they're maladapted for the modern world, right? Where like, okay, being the greatest hunter-gatherer dude, like I don't know how much money you're going to go make being an excellent hunter today, right? Like it pays more, or rather it's more functional to be like, can you collaborate? Can you be empathic? Can you understand other people? Can you find how to, understand and add value to other people's lives, right? Like those are traits that we now select for. And on net, it's a very positive sum. Like the world's gotten much better in the last 200 years because we found better ways to utilize the infinite variety of human capital and talent. And like, that's a really good thing. Like if you were designing a civilization from scratch, you wouldn't look at 50% of your intellectual and physical capital and be like, okay, we're going to categorically deny all those people from pursuing their own self-interest or letting them invent things or lead or do all this stuff. And I don't think we'll ever get to full equality, but it gets at the Ratatouille question of like, that movie isn't about everyone has to cook or everyone shall cook. It's like everyone can cook. That's what Chef Cousteau is trying to express through Remy and his avatar Linguini. Okay. Like it's that the opportunity is there for everyone. And that's what we should strive for. I just went on a whole thing. That's all to say. I love thinking about how the world was different and how it's different today. And like, I want to give credence to that. Like it's changed really, really fast. And so I think for a lot of guys, it's kind of like, oh, this this way of masculine, it made sense for a long time. It's a little whiplash. I don't know, what does it even mean to be a man today, right? That's why we're talking. But
Right.
It's a cool thing to like, whoa, I'm so glad I'm alive today.
It is interesting. And I feel like, as we're about to enter the age of AI, where like, who even knows if you need human capital anymore?
Right.
At that point, I think looking at it as like, well, like some of my male friends, they got into Brazilian jiu-jitsu and they were like, I feel like more at ease during the day. And I'm like, yeah, because you're like checking off the box. You're getting rid of this like aggression that you spent like a million years,
right?
It
served you. Right?
Yeah. And now it's like, you just need to kind of pacify it. And maybe that's another way of looking at masculinity is like, I'm sorry to be such an empiricist here or so like simplifying it. But like for me, I'm just like, well, if I have this sexual desire or, this physical need to exert energy, to me, it's like, okay, just as a practice, check the box, and participate in community, be more emotionally aware, but like you still are, a man. So like try to like check these boxes off so you can remain and be like a positive surplus value to society without the negative aspects that come from like stagnant male aggression, basically. Like go out, run. Like if you have boys, they're like dogs. Like a tired dog is an obedient dog.
Yeah.
So like I kind of feel like that. Like I gotta ride my bike, I gotta lift weights, and then I'm like, okay, cool, like clear head. But if I'm not doing something,
right, we have to channel that energy and put it toward those kinds of things. Not toward like warfare like we used to, but toward more things that benefits ourselves and society.
Yes.
Do you guys want to mud wrestle? I'm completely serious.
There's so much tension here. Can you just feel it?
I can feel it.
Yeah, I mean, there's another version where it's like we begin all meetings like this, where it's just like we get, I mean, not to bring it all back to sex, but like sometimes some of the best communication is after you have sex with somebody. Pillow talk is a phrase.
Right.
Why is that?
I was going to say post-nut clarity.
It's the same thing though. Same thing. It's just like it distills your sense of self into this clear-eyed state. And I don't know that it's that different. Like it's like a runner. Like when you're really physical and you've like gotten it out of the way, like, I don't know. I swear to God, someone should run an experiment and they should be like, we're going to take a Fortune 500 company and we're going to begin every meeting with, it doesn't have to be mud wrestling, but just, like let's have some, staged sparring combat, like where they can be aggressive and wrestle and just like get it out of the way. Like, I think it would help. I really do. And I think that we actually suffer a lot when we don't have as many outlets collectively, to recreate physically or to have friendly, like sports, I think is this outlet for a lot of people. And, that's a whole other topic we could get into, but like, seriously, like we should make mud wrestling a thing or just ritual combat. Like this is, and a lot of cultures have deep practices of this where it's like, no. If you have a dispute with somebody, like there's a structure to adjudicate that. Like you go, the whole village shows up and like you fight, you wrestle.
Are you advocating for dueling? Should we bring dueling back?
So that's
actually, yes.
Well, dueling had like a physical result that was you'd end up maimed per se, but like you could almost argue some of these things are just ancient icebreakers.
Yeah.
Like they're like, because again, you're just trying to like pacify the part of you that's like, we live in the modern world so much in just our brains. Like I don't need to hunt a deer. We were talking about it earlier. So it's like, okay, but my mesolimbic system really wants to kill something, have sex with something,
right? Seriously,
or discover something. So let me just check the box off. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you. Go away. Okay. And now normal, like just modern life. Yeah.
We're not meant to sit at a desk for 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
It's great. You can make a lot of money, but like, how do we balance those things?
Yeah. We were literally wired to hunt, have sex to try to further the next generation because we were literally built to procreate. And a lot of us are like losing touch with those things. And like a lot of men today, like they're losing their virginity later in life, or because like they're not asking girls out, so they're just not having sex. Teen drinking is down, which is not a byproduct of like, oh, like today's kids are so noble and blah, blah, blah. They're so health conscious. Just like they just don't hang out with each other as much. Yeah. And they're under constant surveillance from their parents because like their iPhones are tracking them all the time. So they can't sneak out of the house, and like they track all their communication. So they can't have their 24-year-old brother go pick up a 6-pack like they used to. Right. And so today's kids are just in fewer potentially dangerous situations where like you might have drunk sex as a 17-year-old or whatever and have it be the worst sex of your life, but it's a rite of passage.
Or it happens to you and you have to figure it out, right?
Right. You have to figure it out.
Like
you have to go through all that awkwardness.
Yeah. Or you guys ever feel like you talk to older guys, and I kind of want like each of your takes on this. Like sometimes you'll talk to older like dads, right? Dudes in their 50s, and you ask them about how they grew up. And they will say the craziest shit to you.
Yeah.
That you can't, but they'll be like, oh yeah, I almost burned down a forest. I did burn down a forest one time. You know, I broke all my legs and then my mom didn't know about it. Like they'll just say shit that you wouldn't believe.
You blew off all your legs?
No, not me. This is my stepfather who I'm referring to. But like, no, but seriously, you think of like dads and grandfathers, they'll be like, oh yeah, we did all this crazy shit. And they're just like so nonchalant about it. And they have a very different view of masculinity. Like it speaks to kids grow up different today.
Right.
Right. I mean, like I did some crazy shit, but nothing like that. Like you think old people are old and boring. Like they did fucking crazy things when they were your age. It's a very different world.
Yeah. All right. I want to switch gears. Seth, let me ask you this. How does a man show up sexually?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's great to provide that sense of security for a woman. And if that is felt from her at all times as much as possible.
How do you do that? That's huge.
Well,
put on Ratatouille.
There's we kind of touched upon this earlier about just like
every time.
Straight from like physical safety to emotional safety. We're talking about spirituality as well. I mean, spiritually safety, you know, like in all of the components, all of the realms. If a woman feels safe, if she feels provided for, I know we were talking about making money earlier, which is awesome, and like showing merit, having purpose. All those pieces are going to, you know, set a beautiful stage to kind of have a good sexual relationship as well. And being able to listen and react and kind of direct through it's like, it's weird because like men, they're able to direct and take charge and make decisions. That's usually in tandem with I'll use more of like the feminine energy. And so if that is in place, if all those things are in place, then I think a man will do very well in showing up sexually for whoever. Again, this can work for a same-sex relationship as well.
Seth's sex checklist.
And of course, humor is really important because come on, we can't be too serious about this stuff.
Every woman says that, and I was like, damn, I am so not funny. I've always had that against me.
What are you talking about?
I'm not a funny person.
I think you're funny.
I'm smart. I am athletic. I am curious. I can make someone feel safe. Funny. I am not funny.
You're deadpan funny.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Wait, when are you? What is the most silliest time in your life? Like, when are you the silliest?
Oh, when am I the silliest?
When you're having sex.
Oh, I don't do that. When I'm in the kitchen dancing to like Olivia Rodrigo.
Oh, what?
Yeah, that's silly.
Why don't you bring more silliness to every part of your day?
That's a good question. I'm wearing frog socks right now. Is that silly?
Well, that is silly, and I love it.
Yeah. See, this is a ton of whimsy. You're literally oozing whimsy.
Thank you. Ryan, how do you be more funny? Give me some help.
Do stuff. If people don't laugh, do different stuff and then repeat, I guess. I don't know. Am I funny? Is that why you're asking me?
I think you're a funny guy. I think you're all funny.
I think I don't
think Seth tries to be funny. He's just funny by nature. Like your existence is funny.
His nature is like something's just changed.
I see Seth and I just smile so much.
Yeah. His aura is very positive.
Did you I think you're not afraid enough.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
I think that's what it is.
Okay.
I think most of my humor, when I actually think about like my humor over my lifetime, where it comes from is like a fear of not being accepted or like not being in a moment that's uncomfortable. And so like making it comfortable by making people laugh. Because you like, since I met you, you actually strike me as like very, very confident. Even the way you like portray aesthetically is, you know, like put together, clean cut. But I don't know, maybe that's one thing, being afraid, which is kind of funny to say, but you're like, yeah, if you're afraid of like I've heard other people say this too. Like if I have some friends that grew up in South Boston and they were like, yeah, you kind of like had to make jokes or people would like hit you when you were a kid. Like you had to be funny.
Entertain me or die.
Yeah.
Building off of that, I would also say, I don't know if this is in any original definition anywhere, but humor is like making light of something.
Oh,
and so
I love that.
For me, I think it's like in any moment,
Yeah.
we can make light of it. Of course, there can be good moments on their own that have light, but it's like, oh, make light of that. Don't take things too seriously. Like, what if I took this moment a little less serious? You could ask yourself that.
Well, thank you for all the Bachelor advice, boys. I really appreciate it. I'll let you know if any of it pays off. I solicited some questions from listeners, and I want to ask a couple of you this question, which I really liked. Starting with you, Ryan. What is one thing you have always wanted to say to a man that you've never felt you had permission to?
When I lived in San Francisco and New York, sometimes I would see young men just being shitheads, like on the street or something.
Oh, God, yeah.
And I just wanted to be like, what are you doing? And just stop and like correct them. And I kind of wish that would make a comeback. Like
There's
adults,
kids here. I want to do that. Like when I see
That'd be
kids
so
riding
cool. I love it.
their bikes with the big tires, and they like, what is it called, a wheelie? Is it called a wheelie? Where they kind of like flip the bike up, and they're just like in the middle of Islington Street. There's cars behind you, and you're looking like a little shithead.
Like peacocks.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know where. When you said that, I was just like trying to think of something. I was like, oh yeah, that's time where like I'm like somebody needs to teach you to be polite, or to at least call you out. And not as a jerk, just like, hey, what are you doing? You don't have to be like a jerk, knock them off the bike or something. Just like, yeah, I feel like that's kind of like, that's missing. I feel like there's,
You want to hit kids?
I think there's like,
Oh my God.
I think there's like a missing sense of duty to the next generation. I think.
Yeah.
Because
yes.
it's like, look, you're not punishing or correcting this person out of your own satisfaction. It's like, you're doing it because this is the next generation.
I support you, Ryan,
Yeah.
in doing this more.
Bring back
And I'll do it
spanking.
more too, I promise.
Bring back spanking and spank other people in public. That's what I think that's Bring back the town square.
All right, I
spank.
gotta see Andy spanking Ryan at White Heron tomorrow.
I've almost never seen I mean, it's not totally true, but it is mostly boys that
young boys are shitheads,
Yeah.
and young boys are missing male role models. I mean, the divorce rate is so high these days, 50% they say. And so more often than not, the young boy ends up with the mother the majority of the time. And so a lot of young boys are missing male role models. Sports enrollment is down. So coaches, teachers, like predominantly females. So boys are just missing male role models, and we need male role models. We need someone to tell us when we're being shitheads and to put us on the right path. So just one of many reasons, as we've been laying out over the last 90 minutes or so, why young boys are struggling. Andy, what's one thing you wish you could say to other men, but haven't felt permission to?
Oh God, didn't I say enough? You don't have to be afraid. Seriously, you don't have to be afraid. I think that is the simplest, most empowering, most true, meaningful, and applicable pragmatic message to the most number of guys that I can think of. Because all these insecurities that people have of like, oh, they're not going to like me, or should I go and do that? Like, no. Your life will be better. It's like the end of WALL-E. Tell me you've seen WALL-E.
God, stop with all these movie references.
I am sorry. I live through the lens of pop
It's
culture.
a pizza plant.
Yeah, exactly. Well, okay. WALL-E is this movie. All the people go to space and they live through screens and they're all really fat and they have like forgotten what it means to be human. And then they come back to planet Earth and a charming little Pixar robot named WALL-E teaches them what it means to be a human being again. And along the way, what they come to understand is that the things that also make sense, that are pragmatic, are also the things that feel really good, like figuring out how to grow plants, figuring out how to connect with other human beings, how to flirt. Like they live behind their screens and then they're like, oh my God, this other person living in the spaceship with me, like you're kind of cute. Like they rediscover all the fundamental elements of being human.
This feels applicable.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very real.
It's literally where we are. We're like the things that I think would help the most with kind of the crisis in masculine identity, like are also the things that make the world better and that we need more of. We need people to be more experimental, to be more unabashedly themselves, to be less afraid of rejection and failure and doing different things. Everywhere, all the time, the world is trying to put you into a box. There's so much pressure for conformity, and you are only ever going to know what it's like to be you. And everyone has these unique gifts, and like, there you go. It's like, you're done. So I don't know. You don't have to be afraid. And this is the great virtue, I think, of being alive in, modern America, in like Western civilization, in a democratic liberal society. Like, we're a transparent society. We prize freedom of speech and openness of information above almost all other things. And that's really unique in the span of human history. It's an incredible gift. And it's like an asset that we can go and be like, I'm not going to go to jail for anything I said today. I've never thought about that in my life. It's an amazing thing.
We'll see when this episode gets released.
That's true. We'll see. So I don't know. That's just my, like, the things that we also need to solve hard problems are the things so often that feel really good in life.
Yeah.
Flirt, experiment, adventure, dare, be different. That's my message. You don't have to be afraid. Just be yourself. Actually, the world really needs you to do it.
Good shit, Andy. Can
That's
I
awesome.
reveal my answer to this question?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. We're all curious.
I want to tell more men that I love them. I tell the women in my life that I love them, but I don't do it with guys. I feel very uncomfortable. You guys are always looking at me very weird right now. Like,
I want you to say it to me. I want you to say it to me. Try it. Come on.
Seth, I love you.
And
I love
don't
you
say
too.
man.
Andy, I love you.
Oh, thank you, Troy.
Ryan, I love you, buddy.
I hate you.
Aw, that felt nice.
Yeah.
Troy, that's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. But there's always been a hesitation to it. It's like, oh, that's only something that you say to your significant other.
Yeah.
Or like in my case, like my girlfriends, like female friends, I will say it to them. But to a guy, it's like, ugh, guys don't say that.
Yeah. It's weird.
What do you guys do? Do you do that?
I try to. Like, I have tried very much to rehabilitate a wholesome masculinity with my, like, I mean, when I get together with my buddies, like, we're very physical with each other. And even talk about different society, like, guys kiss each other on the cheek in all these
Right.
other countries. They'll hold hands in different countries, right? And like, we're
Yep.
so prudish and uncomfortable with like PDA here because we don't, I think it comes from this insecurity around like sex and like, we don't want to be perceived as gay, which is weird, which is fine. Ryan and I don't have that problem at all. But I mean,
it could also just be a norm that we've gotten used to too. I mean,
yeah, there's
I
not
don't
to be
know.
something wrong with it.
Yeah.
I agree.
I say it all the time.
Do you?
I say it all the time, and I'm very touchy-feely with
You
all my
are.
male friends.
Yeah. You
I
are
take
a
them. I
great
take them
hugger.
over the edge, where they're like, "Okay, so that was too much." And I'm like,
Seth, you can
Good.
go now, Seth.
good.
Can you explain the heart hug?
Oh, the heart hug is really good. So a lot of people, and I used to do this too, kind of hug over someone's right shoulder, but where the real juice is hugging over their left shoulder because then your hearts touch.
Oh.
interesting.
Yes, I first
Yeah.
learned this from Alex.
Mm.
When I first met her, she heart hugged me, and I was like, "What the fuck is this chick doing?"
Oh yeah, everyone thinks that I'm trying to kiss them when I'm, and I'm like, in a way, I am. Okay, you never know when I'm gonna pull one out. All right,
I like that.
but yeah, it's a heart hug. It's really good.
I don't know. Like, I recently had my dad's brother, my uncle, passed away like a year or two ago. And my dad was the saddest I've ever seen him. And I was also the saddest I'd been in a very long time. And we like hugged and cried, and I said I loved him. And I don't say I love you to my dad really that often, but I think that when we do, it means a lot. When we do, like, if I do say it, and in that moment I said it, and we just like had a moment, and it was, yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
I'm going to say I love you more. I feel like I try, I mean, I feel like I had a very gentle father, Well, I have 3 dads, technically. A lot of families grow up divorced. My parents split up when I was 5, and my mom remarried, and, then I got married. So whenever it's Father's Day, it's like, there's my biological dad, there's my stepdad, and there's my father-in-law, right? And they all are father figures to me, and they're all very different, but I love them all very much. And it's kind of like you hear the phrase, it takes a village. Like this gets at kind of what you were saying, right? Of like, man, I wish we had a social dynamic comfortable enough where I could like kind of discipline other people's kids because we had enough of a shared understanding around what it means to, be a good role model for kids and explain boundaries to them, right? Like, I feel like that used to be a lot more common in a lot of like the structure of human society. Like the phrase "it takes a village" doesn't come from nowhere. I think we're only wired to like know 300 people or whatever anyway, right? But like, dude, you can call up your friends and ask them for help. They'll actually love it. Like, we don't have to be afraid. Like, we could just be a little more open-minded about like, want to watch my kids, want to do this, want to do that.
Yeah.
Like, people love that shit, and it builds community.
Are you guys in any like men's groups?
I'm not. Seth is.
What is?
But yours is like a very like formalized group, and so isn't it like a national group with chapters?
Yeah,
That's
international.
the Mankind.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
Mankind Project.
Okay.
Yeah, there is kind of like a structure within the actual
Right.
meetups themselves.
Right. So it's an organized thing. But do you guys have any desire to, because like I said at the beginning of this episode, there are so many groups around here. There's Well-Lived Women, there's Women's Business League, there's She Flows, there's like so many different women's groups that I know of that my friends run that I'm so supportive of, and it's amazing. Is there a desire for men to get together in their own kind of things? Maybe it doesn't have to be as formalized as what you're describing, but I've heard of men's fire circles are a thing. I've never been to a men's group, nor have I. I've had a bunch of people kind of like nominate me to be like the guy who leads Seacoast men and gets them together.
Our
But
chieftain.
I've always been like, I don't know. It's not something I'm super passionate about. It's not a problem that I am super passionate about trying to solve. I don't know if I'm the type of guy who would go to a men's group. After this conversation, I'm like, maybe I should hang out with some more men. So maybe I'll change my mind. But is this something that you guys want to do? Would be interested? Would your friends be interested in that kind of thing?
I've been vaguely interested in it, mostly because our startup is all about IRL, like getting people out and doing things in person. And one of the things that used to be way more prevalent, and I forgot, Robert Putnam. Have you guys heard of this
Rolling
guy?
Alone.
Yeah. And he's got
He lives in Jaffrey.
New Hampshire.
Yeah, I swear to God, he's from New Hampshire. Yeah.
So, I mean, he's talked about how there used to be these fraternal societies like the Masons, the Odd Fellows, Elks Lodges, all these places. And like, I guess I'd never really been that interested in them. But since reading his book and trying to start this company and just like being a man at 40, and like most of my social life does actually come from my wife. Like we salsa dance, and that takes up 2-3 nights a week. I have a lot of guy friends there, but it's weird that this is making me think of it. But we hung out at Federal Cigar downtown.
Naturally.
I don't know. I don't like to smoke and I don't like to drink, but I went in there and I was like, this is fucking awesome. Like, it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of a little fraternal society curious. I'm just curious.
I like
just
that.
a little curious.
I like
because
that.
like, here's the thing. For whatever reason, I really think this is true. Empirically, when I look at my guy friends, they do not default to social behavior. And all the fraternal societies, they get all this weird shit they do. Like, oh, you got the first order, second order, third order.
Yeah.
And then to do all these things, you have to do a ritual.
Yeah.
And you do the ritual. And it's like all this weird. It's not weird. It's just like you do these things that are pointing towards something that's not yourself and not another person, which I think makes men comfortable. But yeah, I don't know. I've been kind of curious to see what it's like.
We have one final question, and it's brought to you by David Higgins, local Seacoast resident, and the official investment office of Seacoast Stories.
Oh, awesome.
We ask this same final question at the end of every episode every week. However, it's going to be a different final question for this particular conversation. So I figure we should try to answer the question that has kind of loomed over this entire conversation. Seth, what is masculinity in 2025?
I think that it is finally given a space again in which it was trying to be pushed out. So it's coming back.
Masculinity is coming back.
Yeah.
Like the old school, or is it a totally new way of thinking about it?
in the ways that I've been talking about it, I would say, I guess the most aligned way that would lead to someone having a good overall life, like a man wielding the proper type of masculinity within himself, and also within women as well, like having the proper balance of femininity and masculinity within themselves as well. And so I think there's less and less people trying to push masculinity out of its place, and that's fantastic.
Andy, in a nutshell, what is masculinity in 2025?
Can't say that to me. Selfishly, service, optimism, agency, and exacting your will onto the world and creating and appreciating new and beautiful things, right? I do want to take this opportunity to kind of like frame this whole thing differently, right? Like men are having problems, right? But I'm pretty bullish. I'm pretty optimistic on our ability to solve it. And that's what Granted Goodness is all about, if people are curious. But that's what it means to me. Masculine, it's optimism. It's optimism in service.
Ryan?
This might be anticlimactic, but I think masculinity is that designation that we've given to traditional male characteristics. I'll just give the vanilla, I think that's what it is. But I think us accepting that, like we talked about earlier, like if you're a man, you probably need to be doing something. You need to be feeling like you're succeeding. You should not just like sit and think about it. You specifically probably need to go out, earn some money, or get a job or whatever, just volunteer, something like that. So I think to me, I don't really care what masculinity is. I care that men understand what they're working with. They understand the equipment that they have and how to like make it through life. 'Cause it's long.
I will say confidence, hold space for others in their lives, has purpose, healthy relationships, shares their emotions openly and works through them in a mature way, is financially responsible, has caretaking, look over people aspects to their nature, and really good listener. I love being a really good listener. So that's what I would say the modern man is. Objections? Final thoughts, anyone?
That's pretty cool.
Mustaches, pirates, Speedos,
yeah,
punk rock.
Well, thank you to each of you gentlemen. You are three Seacoast men that I look up to and I'm proud to call friends. And I love each and every one of you. Ryan, Andy, and Seth. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
We love you, Troy.
I love you too, Troy.
I love all you guys.
Oh, thanks.
This is amazing. Thank you.
That's Seth Pearson of Love Amped, Ryan Lambert of the River App, and Andy DeMeo of Granted Goodness. To learn more about any of the businesses these guys run, just visit the link in the show notes. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend. And if you're a man who heard this, please shoot us a DM. We would love to know if this resonated with you. This is an important conversation, and I'm sure we didn't get it all right, but I'm happy we were able to gather in this safe space. So thank you, Seth, Ryan, and Andy for your openness, and thanks to all of you for listening. I'll be back Thursday with a special bonus episode of Seacoast Stories. So until then, if you see me around town, perhaps at some women-owned businesses like Lainey and Lou, We Feel Good, or Throwback Brewery, please stop me and say hi. I would love to hear your story. Have a great week, everybody. Live free or die.